it was the worst day on Wall Street since the crash of 1987.
Traders say this is the craziest day they have ever seen in these markets. Veteran traders say they've never...
The infamous small update, an update that made CS2 lose over $3 billion in market cap in just 3 days. With this simple patch note. It's 6 AM, I get a random WhatsApp message. Dude, wake up, you're missing CS content. I never get messages on WhatsApp, only Discord, so I knew it was serious. I open my phone, knives are being crafted live. At first, I thought it was a joke. Turns out, it was a real thing. I literally placed my sell orders the day before. None went through. Overnight, my knives and gloves lost almost 75% of their value. My 5 cheap red covers went up a bit, but nowhere close to cover what I'd lose. Instead of panicking, I took it as a signal. Finally, a proper correction. A clean entry point for my challenge. I didn't even care, I saw an opportunity. Before the update, my skin ledger inventory was sitting at roughly $12,000. After the update, it dropped to $8,812. But I wanted to have a more realistic picture. The Steam value doesn't represent what items can actually sell for in real money. So I used the Price Empire portfolio feature, and after a few hours of manually adding transactions across 3 different accounts, my new portfolio value is sitting at $7,592 based on current CS float prices. And that's my real post-crash number. So I was at work thinking about the strategy, what to actually buy. Knives? No. Gloves? Definitely not. Even covers felt too risky, too much volatility and a higher chance for trade reversals. So at first I decided to focus on the active drop cases, items with a huge supply and a strong demand, that had also dropped around 40% after the update. I wanted to see how the market reacted on both ends, active and discontinued. I had about $1,200 to deploy, so I wanted to make every cent count. Before making any moves, I used CS stonks to analyze the overall market, checking the drop status, market caps and extinction timelines. Then I used CS ROI to look deeper into each case, specifically which craftable knives were linked to them. After combining both data sources, I decided to pivot towards non-active cases, the ones with limited long-term supply and a stronger scarcity potential, especially with the possibility of new terminal cases being the new norm in the future. Based on that, I ended up choosing 4 main cases. First, the Winter Offensive case. It's sitting at around $4 million market cap, with roughly 28 months left before extension. I bought it at about $5.40, and right now it's already up to $6.25. This one includes Karambit and M9 bayonet knives. Next is the Chroma case. Market cap is around 13 million with about 44 months left. I bought it for $3.83 and it's now around $5.60. Also tied to Karambit and M9 bayonets. Then there's Horizon case, roughly 28 million market cap, with about 60 months before extension. My entry was around $1.07 and it's now about $1.25. This one gives access to Talon and Stiletto knives. And finally, the Prisma 2 case. This one's massive, around 130 million market cap, and it's got a long timeline, about 160 months left. I bought it in 80 cents and it's now roughly $1.10. Also linked to a Talon and Stiletto knife. And those are my core positions, slow burners with solid knife lineups and predictable extension curves. Also, to address an elephant in the room, I currently can't disclose how many cases I have due to them being continuously reversed, but initially I bought 104 Chroma cases, 13 Winter Offensive, 300 Horizon cases, 382 Prisma 2, and only after 1 week we'll find out how many actually are officially ours.
Thank you for taking Beijing Subway.
As soon as I decided what to buy, the next challenge was actually buying them. And that's where things got complicated. While checking market data, I noticed something weird. Prices in China were way cheaper. The exact same cases on BOF were often 20 to 30% lower than on CS Float. So I thought, why not just use that to my advantage? Luckily, I've been in China before and still had WeChat and Alipay set up. But here's the catch. BOF only accept WeChat and you can't just top up your WeChat balance from non-Chinese credit cards. So as soon as I decided what to buy, I sent the money to my Alipay account and from there it was resent to my WeChat by my friend. It sounds simple, but it never is with WeChat. To even register to application, you need an invite from somebody who's already a verified user, and they can only invite a limited number of users per year. The ID verification constantly fails, and honestly, it feels intentional. Somehow I got through it this time, confirmed my identity, accepted the risk, verified it wasn't fraud, and finally, after countless pop-ups and random confirmations, it worked. The money went through, and I finally made my first BOF purchases. For years, Valve never touched knives. They symbolized prestige. Then suddenly, Valve reminded everyone, we can change the rules anytime we want. That broke people, especially the Chinese, not the prices, but the trust. My theory behind it? It's most likely with regulations. By making everything craftable, Valve argued that skins aren't purely gambling anymore. You can technically craft what you want, so it's no longer just RNG. That makes it much easier to Valve to defend themselves legally, but that's just my theory. Will it recover? I think so, but not evenly. Low-tier knives and gloves will stay cheap for a while, but factory new and high-tier items are a completely different story. Based on actual data, new drops are insanely rare. For example, out of 3,142 glove crafts, only 3 factory new pairs were created. 3 out of over 3,000. That's not random. I think that's designed. So yeah, this was the infamous small update that wiped out billions. My portfolio took a hit for sure, but it also gave me a clean slate. Because this isn't over, this is just the start of the CS2 arc.